let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer, some promising 3-year-olds take center stage in race number 9 at Keeneland on Saturday. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 3 Lexington. We're going 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. Proxy, the number 7, 6-5 on the morning line, getting some class relief after chasing Hot Rod Charlie in the Louisiana Derby.
Yeah, it might be significant class relief too, Dan. This horse has been, pretty competitive against some better horses all winter down at the fairgrounds. They're gonna, take a shot here. I guess maybe one more shot to try to get him into the Derby, Dan. And it's a much easier spot for sure.
The Louisiana Derby was a race where the pace held up. We take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for the Lexington. Proxy might get a better situation, a red bar scenario, which indicates a potentially fast pace. Swiftshore might be able to make the front, Noble Reflection on the inside. Both of these horses stretch out sprinters with gas.
I mean, they sure are. I mean, they both look like they're pretty talented too, Dan. We'll see what happens on the front end here. Both of them stretching out with speed. Feels like they could hook up. If they do, it's a problem for both of them. But I feel like they're both pretty good.
Noble Reflection, the number 1, 15-1 on the morning line, made his first start off a lengthy layoff for Richard Baltus at Oaklawn. We're going to watch that race right now. He was bet down to odds on. He ran like an odds on choice. He went right to the front. He opened up a clear lead, and it is just hands and heels for Ricardo Santana in the stretch.
Yeah, never an anxious moment for him in here. This was a pretty impressive win, and it came back with a pretty solid figure as well, Dan. Second off the layoff, they're going to stretch him right out. This is a distance that he is bred to handle. There's a lot of distance on the damn side of this pedigree. I thought about putting this horse on top 10. I think he's going to run well in here, but, he's just going to need the right kind of trip, I think, to pull off the upset.
Swiftshore is 2 for 2. Both of those races sprinting. Let's watch his non-winners of one other than at Oaklawn on January the 23rd. A race where a pace setter blasted off to set a quick early lead, and we see Swiftshore just taking over. He made a move in tandem with that horse to his outside. He's going to put that horse away, and it was nice to see that 3 of these horses that he beat came back to win. The 4th place horse winning at Keeneland with an 88 Beyer speed figure. I'm a little concerned about this pedigree. Both the first 2 dams were sprinters.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, he doesn't have, a huge distance pedigree. I mean, I'm not going to worry about it until he proves he can't do it, Dan. His first 2 races are really good. This horse looks like he has a lot of ability. I mean, listen, they're going to stretch him out in a tough spot here.
Here's Bezos for Bob Baffert. This horse cost a lot of money, and he is bred to go long. So no surprise that he improved second time out, stretching out to the mile. He was able to push the pace, and he's able to draw clear. Now, the 3rd place horse in here, Fenway's been a bit of a disappointment for Baffert, but I can't knock what Bezos did. This is a horse that's just going to get better with more maturity and distance, I believe.
I agree with that. He wins this race very easily, and he did. It's not like he just waltzed around the track. Fenway, whether he's good or not, took a run at this horse around the turn, and Bezos handled him pretty easily. You could see how easily he won at the end of the race. It's only a 76 Beyer, Dan. This horse, really bombed first time out. He was the talk of the town. He didn't run at all. I guess he ran better last time, but he's going to have to improve again. It's probably a good sign that Baffert comes back in 2 weeks.
The number 4, It's My House, is already a Derby winner. Let's watch the Turf Paradise Derby. It's My House's first race on dirt. He did some work in here, all the way pushing the pace. The pace is solid, and It's My House continues to go. He's going to hold off the runner-up, a horse that would come back to win an allowance, but only with a 70 Beyer. His figs are light, and his running style might not play in a race with other speeds.
Yeah, there are a couple problems with this horse. He runs fine in here. He certainly earned this win, Dan, doing all the work on the front end, but this is a way tougher race.
Can Pletcher pull off another one with a 3-year-old at a big price? Unbridled Honor is 10-1 on the morning line, and he does have the right running style for this race. We saw him come from out of it to win his maiden at Tampa Bay, and he was way behind in the Tampa Bay Derby, actually making up a little bit of late ground in that race. My one concern is I just don't like the Tampa Bay Derby as a whole.
I don't like that race either. He did run a little bit at the end of it, if you want to give him some credit. I don't really want to do that. His maiden win 2-back was fine. He navigated a little bit of traffic to get it done there. He feels like a horse who could get better, Dan, but he's got to get better in a hurry.
Versatility. Thy name is Hockey Dad, the number 6. He's won on dirt. He's won on turf. He's graded stakes place on synth. Let's go back to his turf win 2 starts back against fellow California breds. Like the tactical speed he showed in this race. He collars this horse discretionary day, and he just goes on it. He's a little bit green, as you see in this race, but he came out of this race in the Jeff Ruby, Mike, and I thought he mid-moved into the hottest part of the pace and was still kicking on at the end.
Yeah, I agree. There's an argument to be made that he might have run the best race last time. He did a lot of work up there, kept close to a fast pace. You're right. He made the early move. He would not give in through the stretch, even though he couldn't hold on. I thought he ran well there. That turf race we just watched, I thought he ran well there. Even when he won on dirt 3 back then, I thought he ran well in that race. Sprinting 6 furlongs, he looked like he was just getting warmed up in the final furlong of that race. I like this distance for him, and I like his tactical speed.
Proxy, the number 7, not only has the fig, he has the last 3 figs. Any of those last 3 Beyer speed figures faster than anything else the rest of this field has ever earned. And Proxy might have been up against it slightly from a pace standpoint in both the Risen Star and the Louisiana Derby. I just thought he ran in spots in the Louisiana Derby, Mike. They were scrubbing on him on the backstretch and into the turn. And he kind of just clunked along. I like him turning back slightly in distance.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. He's sort of done the same thing in each of his last 2 or 3 starts, Dan. It just feels like they have to work really hard to keep this horse's interest. So I guess Johnny V is not going to be able to fall asleep on this horse now, Dan. The blinkers, to me, didn't make that much of a difference last time. Listen, he's way the horse to beat in here. He might have just found the right field. We'll just see what kind of price. I feel like he's going to be very, very short in here.
Ultimate Badger did win at this distance last year. He's been concentrating on 1-turn races in South Florida, including the Hutchison. Let's go all the way back to 6 furlongs on March the 6th. Ultimate Badger outpaced over this sloppy track. They were going fast early. That helped Ultimate Badger because he's going to come from left field to finish second behind Willie Boy, who would come back to run second in a Florida-bred stake at Tampa Bay with an 84 Beyer. Just wonder how much upside is left. This is going to be his 9th lifetime start.
Yeah, I don't know about how much upside, and I'm still not sure that stretching back out is necessarily a good thing for him. I know that he won a 2-turn race at Churchill over this distance, but man, he was beating that race, and he just managed to fight back and win it, and it didn't come back very fast either.
The 1-race blinker experiment ends for the 9 King Fury. He was keyed up in the Kentucky Jockey Club. His final start at 2, got involved in a pace dispute and didn't run very badly, all things considered. The problem is the Kentucky Jockey Club has just turned out to be a lousy race, and this horse now must deal with a long layoff.
Yeah, he's off the layoff in here. You're right. He's exiting a race that just hasn't come back strong. I mean, if you want horses out of that race, you probably want horses like King Fury, who were part of the pace, because that race fell apart a little bit at the end. We'll see, Dan. I felt like he was at least mildly interested in here if he can take a step forward.
No, he has a little bit of ability. There's no doubt about it. I liked his win in the Street Sense. Only his 3rd lifetime start, going a mile and a 16th. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile is just a complete throwout. And if you want to say the blinkers just had him keyed up, he is a little bit of an under-the-radar horse, especially if the pace is fast. Star in my dreams. He won his first 2 starts, but then they tried him in the Risen Star and the Louisiana Derby. Maybe he was up against it from the race flow both times, but he also finished behind Proxy both times.
He did. I thought he had a little bit of an excuse too back in the Risen Star. He didn't break great in that race. He was very hard to handle early. He was more settled last time. Ultimately, when I watched that race back, I feel like the distance might have gotten to him, Dan. I don't think he really wanted to go that far. All in all, he may not have run that much worse than Proxy did, even though he was a couple lengths behind him at the end. This horse just got very tired in the late stages of that race. Cutting back helps this horse. I still like his first 2 races. I think this horse is pretty good.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 3 Lexington Stakes. I'm going to go with Swiftshore in here. I'm concerned about the pace. I'm concerned about the distance. I'm not concerned about what I've seen from his first 2 starts. This horse does have some ability. I think they'll let Noble Reflection go, sit second, and we'll see if he can run hard from start to finish. Hockey Dad, I think, is going to get the right setup, and he's going to be a good price. We got to beat Proxy, though. We'll admit he's the horse to beat.
Yeah, he's the horse to beat. I gave him the respect I guess he deserves and put him second. I still don't want to bet him in this race, Dan. I'm going to try Hockey Dad. Hopes he sits a trip in here. I just like his versatility, and I like all of his races. I feel like we haven't seen the best of this horse yet.
6-7-1-10 for Mike, 2-1-7-10 for me. The Grade 3 Lexington Stakes, one of the features at Keeneland on Saturday. Race 9 is an approximate post time of 5:30 Eastern. Good luck.